Hey guys, so today I want to talk a little bit about this idea of the damage meter, the DPS meter, the Bible, whatever you want to call it. I mean, at this point, you know it, I know it, we all know it. No need to tiptoe around the idea. Everybody knows about the DPS meter. And almost everybody, I'd say, uses it. Probably my guess is at least 50% of the people, at least, and that's being very generous, in the game has used or uses at the moment DPS meter of some sort. So even if you yourself don't use it and don't have that information, in a party of 4 people, you could probably just holler out at your buddy or maybe just some random pug like, hey, do you use DPS meter? I'm sure at least 2 of those 4 people will be using it, and if you really wanted that data, they could probably get it to you. And if you're playing with a friend, most likely your friend is using it and they can give you the data. So it's very widespread. While I'm not going to tell people to use meter, I want to say that if you wanted the info from the meter, you can find it regardless. Come on, don't kid yourself. Now, what I'm going to say is that I think that, honestly, if you ask me what I think of a meter, while I would never tell you to use it because we still don't know if it's against TOS, we still don't know if it's bannable. Of course, in Korea, Gold River has come out very strongly and said it is a bannable offense. But here in the West, nobody has said anything about it, and for the most part, I have not have heard of anybody who has been banned for it. And also, in terms of the people who haven't said they got banned for it, most likely they also were involved with RMTing or some sort of other activity that would have gotten them banned. But again, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you to use it because we just don't know the consequences of it. But what I will say is, I think that AGS or Smilegate and our Smilegate should do something about it, because I think that DPS meter is a tool. And like many tools in our society, they can be used for good for the most part, but if you use it incorrectly, they can be used for bad too. Think about a knife, right? For the most part, when we think of a knife, we think of it as a tool that we use for cutting things, whether it's for eating and cutting your steak, or maybe it's like cutting a rope to tie a knot. It's a useful tool, but you can also use it for bad and use it to harm other people. So it really kind of depends on how you use these tools to make them a good or a bad thing. For the most part, I think tools are a good thing, but they can be used for bad. But think about it this way. What if we want a kid to learn how to use a knife? What if we want a kid to be able to cut their steak in front of them? What do? Well, we don't give them an adult knife, right? We give them a children's knife. We give them a nice, dull knife that could cut through their food, but cannot be used to harm themselves, at least not easily. Which is why I think that AGS, Smilegate, they should give out a meter. But not the meter in the sense that we're thinking about it right now. Not the meter that we have right now. I think that they should build their own damage meter, put it in the game, and it's just a personal meter. Because for the most part, I think that damage meter is a really helpful tool, as I mentioned before. I think that people using damage meter are likely going to be playing better. Well, if they're not like constantly eyeing it, at least. But people who use damage meter to help themselves learn about their rotations, learn about their damage uptime, learn about their skills, learn about all that stuff, will likely play better than a person who doesn't, because they have the data at their fingertips. They know what they're doing right, they know what they're doing wrong, and they can improve upon that because they know. Oftentimes, right, we're always learning from our mistakes. If we have a teacher there telling us what should we do, what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, you're likely to learn a lot better, a lot more effectively and efficiently than when there isn't somebody telling you what to do. So I personally think that AGS should implement, or AGS and Smilegate should implement, a personal damage meter, because their main concern is that people, or at least Smilegate's main concern, is that people will use the damage meter to be toxic, to gatekeep people, to make fun of people, just be a mean person and use the damage meter for a bad reason. And I think that if they were to implement a personal damage meter, it would get rid of all the bad things about that damage meter and, making fun of people. and it would just be a useful tool for yourself. Because if you think about it this way, right, there already is sort of a damage meter in the game in the MVP screen, at the end of the screen, right? If you see that you're up there underline pro fighter, you know that you did the most damage, and it tells you specifically a lot of times how much damage you did. But you can't really tell too much about like the specifics of how much other people did, right? It only tells you the MVP and how much you did then. So if it's already kind of in the game, it's not like a personal damage meter would change too much else. It wouldn't make it so that you're going to be toxic to other people because, one, you don't know how much damage other people are doing. You just know how much you yourself are doing. But two, if you really are one of those types that is going to be like at the top of the DPS chart and like telling you like, hey, why aren't you doing damage, right? You already know you yourself are doing the most damage because you're going to pop up on the MVP screen. So you can make fun of already all those people that didn't pop up on the MVP screen. So a personal damage meter wouldn't really affect anything other than you yourself learning about how your character's played, learning how you're doing, and learning what mistakes you're making. There's a lot of games that have these personal damage meters, including, let's say, like MapleStory, right? You gotta have your own damage meter, EXP meter. Like, you get that information. That way you learn about your skills, learn about rotation, learn about everything. I think that Lost Ark, Smilegate, AGS should put a personal damage meter in the game just to make it so you can use it for an educational purpose, learn about your own character, learn about your playstyle. And honestly, I think that this would probably help a bit with the support shortage, because one of the main complaints about supports is that you can't really tell your own impact. And if you had a personal damage meter that could show what's your uptime for your buffs, what's the shield uptime, what's the DPS buff, attack buff uptime, what's your 3-bar moonfall update, your aura uptime, like that stuff is all very useful and would make support feel a lot better to play, because you know what your own contribution is to the party. Again, to wrap it up, I'm not telling people to use meter at all. I'm actually saying that it's the reason why people are using meter is because there's a need and a desire for it. And I think that it's up to Smilegate, AGS, to, rather than let us run wild and use these dangerous knives, dangerous tools per se, build a tool for us that is safe for us to use. Build a tool like a children's knife for us children to be able to use because it's useful, but in a way that doesn't hurt us. Like, I think anytime there's such a widespread, rampant use of a certain tool, it means that there's a need for it. There's a desire for it, and it's on the game publishers, the game company, the developers, to see that and build a tool for us to use if they see that the current tool being used isn't quite as safe or quite as, in a way that they wanted us to use it. So yeah, I think please, AGS, Smilegate, if you could make personal damage meters, that would be absolutely great. That way people can stop using a third-party software. That way people would not be tempted to use the third-party software, and they'd probably be fine with just using the personal damage meters without using that third-party software and being toxic. So yeah, let me know down in the comment section below what you think about this. Do you think a personal damage meter would be a good idea for the game? Do you think it wouldn't? Is there some sort of drawbacks that I'm not thinking about? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, hit the sub button, ring the bell for notifications. And also, I stream every single night on twitch.tv/MisoXjiro starting at 10 p.m. PST. So hopefully I'll see you all on the stream, but if not, hopefully I see you guys on the next video. All right, guys, peace out.